Hello, captains, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host again, USS Endeavor. We are aboard the Tier 6 Russian tech tree destroyer, the Minsk. Gameplay code is down below. We're going to look at the build, the commander, the stats, all of that good stuff. But just to kind of preface it, what would happen if you took the Tier 4 Pavoisky and you mixed it with the Tier 5 Nevny, and you only took the best from both ships and you combined it into one? Well, in my opinion, you get the Minsk. So that's what we're going to compare it to, and that's what we're going to look at. So let's check her out. So at the helm, we have Anton Gurin, who is our commander that we will be using as our concealment build. So going over the particulars here, his base trait helps increase the AP shell penetration multiplier. And then with our two perks, as usual with most concealment destroyer builds, we're using Jerzy Swirsky and Eric Bay, which help lower the concealment as much as we possibly can. And then with the second slot, look at me now, again, further makes us more concealed. Using Perceptive, which helps with our bearing locator. Smoke on the water for, again, better concealment when we use it. And in case we get our rudder taken out, Unstoppable. Our mod slots: in the first slot, Aiming Systems Mod 1, Propulsion Mod in the second, and no surprise, in the third, we are using the Concealment System Mod 1. Moving on to the consumables that we have, they're the same as the rest of the line: Smoke and Engine Speed Boost. Only 8%, which isn't that much. On to the actual ship stats themselves. Our survivability is at 15,100 hit points, so it is an increase, although the health pool on these destroyers is not the greatest. Not until you get a little bit higher. Then you actually start to see these things become much tankier. So right now that's only at 15,100, but the next one should be much better. Our main batteries are the same 130 millimeters that we've come to know and love. However, like the Pavoisky, you get 5 barrels yet again. But with the Nevny, you get the reload. So that's why I say this is kind of a combination of the best of both ships into one. So 5 guns from the Pavoisky, the fast-firing guns from the Nevny, and but the 180-degree turn time for the main turrets is 30 seconds, which is very slow. That's battleship level. Onto the torpedoes. You have 8 torpedoes now, in 2 quad launchers that still reach out to 6 kilometers, unlike this 4 base that was when it first came out. 74 knot torpedo speed makes these very fast and very respectable damage at almost 18,000 a hit. Onto the AA defense. Thankfully, we don't face off against a carrier, so this is kind of a negligible stat, but it's not that impressive. Starting at 3.2 is, and the damage is just not good at all. On to the maneuverability, we have 44.3 knots, which feels a lot like the Pavoisky. So you're getting the speed of the Pavoisky as well, unlike the Nevny, which is slightly slower. So this is an increase in speed, and we haven't even spec'd into speed. So when we get into the pocket cruiser build, I'm thinking this thing is going to be really fast, and the rest of the maneuverability is really good. On to the concealment. It's actually relatively well concealed for a Russian destroyer. At a full max concealment build that I can make, we're getting it down to 5.6, which is pretty low for Russian destroyers. However, for destroyers in general, it's average, if not just maybe a little bit above average. So understand that. On to my individual ship stats. I've got a 65% win rate, and you can pause to look at the rest if you would like to. On to the armor. Very much like the Nevny, it can bounce the 203s, but HE is really what you're going to expect to get hit from. Alrighty, captains, here we are on the map, Tears of the Desert, and we are one of 2 destroyers that is going to be playing the destroyer role. And we spawn over here on the alpha side, so this is the side that we are going to fight for. And I will say this right up front, the concealment build for the Minsk is actually not as bad as I originally prescribed it to be. It's not over 6 kilometers. It's 5.6 is actually pretty respectable. when it comes to a concealment destroyer. It's a little on the higher side than I'd like it to be, but I can definitely work with this a little bit better than I originally thought. So I will admit that sometimes I'm wrong when it comes to these destroyers and what I believe can be played from concealment and what can't. But overall, I still hold to the idea that this destroyer line, the Russian destroyer line, this specific one, not the alternate, but this one specifically, works best from range, from speed, and plays more like cruisers than destroyers overall. But that's kind of what I'm going to say on that. But in this game specifically, and this ship specifically with the Minsk, it works very, very well, as you will see. So as we come in here to Alpha, I'm anticipating one of the two destroyers to be spawned over here in Alpha, and I'm anticipating that. They have a Z39, which has a really good consumable, a really good hydro that can reach out to 5 kilometers. It's one of the longest in the game. However, the DPM on that ship is not the greatest. It is still a very good and dangerous destroyer against other ones like myself. However, we get a little fortunate in that none of the destroyers initially spawn over here. As you can see on the map, we are in Alpha. Our team is doing a good job of heading over to Charlie, but we left Bravo pretty much alone, which happens quite frequently in this map. Usually both teams split right down the middle, and a chunk goes towards one side and another chunk goes to the opposite side, and the middle kind of gets left alone. So this is kind of a very typical thing that happens with this particular map. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with the destroyer right off the bat. And as you can see, playing the destroyer role, I'm not shooting my guns, even though I have good DPM with these. I'm just trying to spot these ships, which the Algerie was trying to maintain a spot right behind that little bitty island in hopes that he would be able to take free shots. But because of our position, we are ruining that for him. As you can see, he's just been hit with impunity. He has no one to spot for him, so he's basically just been kind of sitting there taking this abuse. And so now that he's pushed outside of the island and he's no longer hiding there, and we have the cap, I don't feel as bad about pushing out. There are one of our ships just gets blown up by the Z39 right there. Those are his torpedoes. So and now I am located, which more than likely is that Z39. The smoke that was right there is dissipating, and right there in the channel, right where our torpedoes are lined up, is where I believe the Z39 is coming from. So we're going to throw our 8 torpedoes in that direction. Remember, these have a 6-kilometer range with a really good speed, and there we get spotted first, and there he is, the Z39, the Bravo edition, the black edition, and we're going to go ahead and open up, and we have better DPM than he does. And although our torpedoes miss, we did throw them on technically the right trajectory. Our teammates are doing a decent job of helping us out. This poor Z39 is not getting the support that he would like, and we are focusing him. He's smoking up, trying to slow down. If he goes dark, this could be bad. We get one final shot right before he slows down and goes dark, and we take him out. So well done on our team for as a team taking him down. We were able to protect the Alpha cap, but my job here is pretty much done. I'm not going to sit there and try to chase those other ships that are on their side behind Alpha, and that's not my job. That's not what I'm best utilized. The ships on our team, if they're going to stay at Alpha, then the best thing that they can do is prevent them from taking that cap. But we are going to move our way into Bravo that the destroyer took, and unfortunately the Colorado is there to kind of spoil our plans momentarily. So although his guns aren't pointing at us, we're going to have to slow down and smoke up to disengage. And here the Colorado takes a shot at us, a blind shot, which he does miss and reveals himself. However, this back turret hits us. So, well done in hitting me in smoke and from concealment. And this battleship player knows that more than likely torpedoes are coming. So you're going to watch the Colorado, as best as he can, continually change directions, back and forth and back and forth. There he goes undetected, and here we're checking our firing range from smoke so that we don't accidentally reveal ourselves. And here I was going to launch torpedoes, but I decided to hold off, wait until I get both banks before I empty him on him, and he does end up changing directions. But from this range, and with the torpedoes that we have and the speed in which we have, there's pretty much nothing he can do. And these torpedoes are going to find their mark. There we accidentally get spotted from our smoke fire penalty. We get all 4 torpedo hits and clean them up there for, oddly enough, not a dev strike, but it was essentially a dev strike. Guess we didn't get it within the time. But that Colorado is now gone. And now we got to make our way into Bravo. The only destroyer left on the Reds is a Fletcher. And as you can see on our bearing indicator, that's where he's located. The Veneto is also pushing around the corner. And this game is really close. And it stays that way almost the entire game. So this was a fantastic game. There you can see the smoke coming up from that Fletcher. So, again, playing the role of a concealed destroyer, we are able to outspot this Fletcher, which more than likely means that he's in a gunboat configuration. We do take a shot because I assumed that he was in his smoke cloud and we wouldn't get spotted, but it was the Veneto that was spotting us when I shot. However, the Veneto goes down, so now we immediately drop spot. And here I'm just, while I'm capping, I'm waiting to see, there he shoots out of his smoke, and I'm just trying to figure out where's he at, because if he keeps shooting from smoke, then I'm going to shoot at him, because they're free shots. While he's in his smoke screen, he can't see me, although I can technically kind of see where he's at. And he's moving in the smoke screen, so we're kind of jogging our shot and guessing where he might be. Every time he shoots, he's revealing his location. And there we get 3 hits, a blind fire 3 hit. There he's moving forward, so I know he's constantly moving. So we're going to have to keep moving our shots. But just taking educated guesses as to where he is, and we get another 3 hits. So that's 6 full penetrations that we got off of him simply because he was shooting what he thought was from relative safety. And as a captain in smoke, you've got to be cognizant of that. There we're able to pick up Bravo, and we're able to whittle down that Fletcher, and I think he was like, I don't know, maybe he thought that we were cheating or something, but if you're shooting from smoke constantly, those are like mini flares that keep going up. Here the Leon is coming around the corner, and boy, our ship right there just got hammered, and somebody's going to clean him up right there. And now we just lost one, and so it's a 5-4 advantage with us. We have 2 of the caps. Our alpha cap that we fought over, it unfortunately is now being flipped, and I am both of our destroyers on our team are still alive, whereas the 2 on theirs are gone. Here, because of the range on our torpedoes, I think I can get a good torpedo strike on this Leon. He's moving and negotiating around this island, which I'm believing he's doing. So we're going to throw our torpedoes there in the anticipation he's going to push around that corner pretty hard. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And he's not going to see these coming until they are far too late. He's not focusing us. He has no idea that we're here until now. And but these torpedoes are going to find their mark, ring true, and it's going to pick up the next kill for our 3rd kill. So that is great. And as soon as we take him out, I'm like, okay, much more comfortable lead. However, our ship right there just gets taken out. So this is a back and forth, almost kind of like a ping pong or tennis match, which really made this more interesting than I thought it was, which was, I like these kind of matches. But we're sitting at 112,000 damage, 3 kills, a lot of torpedo hits. We've got 2 flag captures, and we've been doing some spotting. So we're doing the destroyer role, and we are taking advantage of this as much as we possibly can. However, we don't want to get spotted because these ships, these cruisers, can still do a whopping on us, and we have less than half of our health remaining. But any opportunity, any free shot that we're able to take at these ships, we're going to take. And so you got the Algerie left, you have the York left, and one other ship that I can't remember what it is, but they're all on this side on Alpha. Technically, right now, we have the winning condition. So me making this push, I don't have to do. And here I make a mistake. I'm shooting in open water. This is the cruiser role. This isn't the destroyer role. So I got a little distracted and I forgot. I'm not playing this as a cruiser. I'm playing this as a destroyer, and I got spotted unnecessarily. However, we take very negligible damage, and but that was a little bit of a mistake on my part. And here I'm recognizing that mistake, and I throw torpedoes in the gap in the event that the York decides to chase me down because we were revealed. It's a 3v3. However, late game, having 2 destroyers on our team and the Reds having none, and the cap control and the points gives us the overwhelming advantage. There's no reason we lose this game. They don't have any radars. The cruisers that they have, although devastating, can't stop us. And there, the destroyer goes, or we take out another ship as a team. So now it's a 3v2. It's just these 2 cruisers left. I wanted to dissuade the York from pushing into me by throwing those torpedoes. I didn't get any hits, but he definitely didn't make, he wasn't able to push into us. Here we got a free shot, so we'll take it. Knock out some torpedoes for our effort. These guns are really good. They, like I said, with the Russian line, they have really good velocity. Not the best arcs, as you can see. We can't even lob that island. But the flat trajectory on these makes it really, really quick, high-velocity guns that can get to their target fast. Now the York is all that's left. And because he's flat broadside, we're going to smoke up and start throwing AP shells at him. We're at the end of the game, so I'm not worried about him, even if he were to take me out. He takes a nasty whack right there. So shooting HE, he was angled, but now he's flat broadside, and there we get a high caliber for all of our efforts in this match. It was a really good game. Here I'm trying to finish him off, and we get one final hit with our back turret, and the one shell that was left flying takes him out. And so that's going to do it. We win the match, and we are awarded with a very handsome 3,482 XP for a very good game and 1 kill shy of a Kraken. GG's to our Vanguard on our team for also picking up 4 kills. And so, yeah, fantastic game in the Minsk. Even from concealment, you can play it that way. So it was a good showcase in how you do that and do that well. So obviously, my next video will be the Pocket Cruiser gameplay for the Minsk, so keep an eye out for that. Until then, comrades, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so very much for tuning into this series. It's been very fun thus far, and as we're continuing to climb the ladder, it's going to get just better. So this is going to do it for me today. This is the USS Endeavor signing off.